Hey guys, my name is Matt Gary, and I'm coming to you this week with our hidden gem, Hyper Light Drifter. Considering the recent release of Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild, I thought it'd only be appropriate to talk about a lesser-known game that's heavily influenced by the series. Hyper Light Drifter is an indie action-adventure game developed by the independent studio Heart Machine. It stars a nameless drifter on a quest to cure the disease that's slowly claiming his life. Or at least I think that's what it's about. See, part of the appeal of Hyper Light Drifter is the fact that nothing about the story isn't spelled out for you in words. In fact, almost nothing in the game is spelled out with words. Aside from the pause menu and the start screen, there's almost nothing in the game that's spelled out in the English language. All character interactions take place through hieroglyphs or pictographs, which is, in my opinion, part of the game's appeal, and really brings me to something that I do love about the game: the presentation. The graphics in the game are beautiful, and they're presented in a top-down style with 2D graphics. They're rendered with humanoids and aliens and monsters living side by side with one another in a world that's essentially a ruined science fantasy kingdom. And what's nice about that world is that it presents you a lot of freedom. You can traverse any one of the 4 regions in Hyper Light Drifter's world in any order at any time, although it might not be advisable to do so. There are parts of the game that are harder than others, and it's not exactly clear what they're going to be until it's far too late. But one thing that's nice about the game is that the world feels diverse. Each of the 4 regions feels distinctly different from one another, and they also convey a real sense of scale that's unprecedented, in my opinion, in a game that's presented with 2D graphics. And fighting your way through them is a lot of fun, which brings me to the next point that I wanted to bring up: the combat. Combat in Hyper Light Drifter takes place primarily with the use of your sword and with your blaster, both of which are upgradable. Combat is fast and fun, but requires a decent amount of strategizing in order to be effective. It's a fun time not only to take down foes who are 3 times your size as fast as you can, but also to carve your way through hordes of grunts. But, as much as I do like it, there are a few things that I didn't like about the game. Some of the game's platforming elements were a little too precise for the way the game played to allow you to make it through successfully, and sometimes the game's story is presented a little bit too vaguely. The world of Hyper Light Drifter is such an interesting looking one that you're left wanting to know a little bit more about it than the game ultimately offers, but considering how fun it is to play and how good it looks, I think there are ultimately flaws that can be overlooked.